The hills are alive with the sound of engines. It's race day here at the Austrian Grand Prix. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake.
Welcome to the stream here on IG8Live Esports, everyone. We're on with Phoenix Racing League here for the Austrian Grand Prix. A bit of a sprint race this afternoon. Already went through a one-shot qualifying session. I think we just missed a bit of that. But either way, we're having a formation lap right about now as they're getting sorted through to get started with the race. So we can have a look at what the order is. We got 17 drivers on for this particular race here at the moment. And looks like Archer there starting P1. Not too bad a position for him. Qualifying lap times did look pretty close, so I think we're going to expect some pretty good battles in this session as well. We got Chuck there in second, Chuckle in third. We got Pedavil there fourth, Jonathan in fifth, Lukey in 6th. Got Appentrout in 7th, Swanee 8th. JM Cole in 9th. I got Naismith 10th, Jonesy in 11th, West in 12th, Chartman down in 13th, Super C down 14th, unfortunately. Got Jay in 15th, Super Striker in 16th, and Ice One in 17th. Should be an interesting race start. You want to see how well this is going to go. We got 2 McLarens just behind each other, the second and third, so they got some pretty good positions in terms of qualifying with that. We'll see how the race start though is going to go. So we're about to get started. I'm going to switch this over to where is it? There we go. So position change, you can have a look at that as we get started off the grid. Remember, a bit of a rundown into turn 1. Bit of a heavy braking zone as well. I'm gonna have to be careful. Sunlight is gonna be a bit in the eyes in terms of that turn as well. So let's see. Gets a pretty good run off the line there, the Alfa Romeo, as we got quite a few position changes as we get started there, and I think we got a bit of a contact as well, as I think one of the McLarens are way down at the back of the grid, and that is Chuck there. I'm not sure what happened, but he did have contact with someone. Fall longer order quite a bit, trying to get back up on the top, see what's going on. So jumping in the Ferrari, he is currently up into third by 2 places here. Race leader has kept his position so far going, so not too bad for him. It is a bit of a sprint race, so you know, using the same set of tires all through the race going on through. 410 gap out in front between the top 2, so still pretty close off. And Chuck was able to hold off that position there, up to 1 by 1. He's holding off the gap that he has to the race leader. Hopefully he can keep it going on through, see what's going to happen. The Devil lost 1 position, at least for Two of our drivers in the top 8 that we have there. The rest of the guys have gained quite a few positions. Chuck Rivers though, down by at least 9 positions right about now, so not going too well this race start there for him. But let's see if he can recover that going through the next 17 and a half laps I would say we have remaining there. Looks like Archer currently holding the fastest lap time. We'll see how that's going to transition through as we get into the at least a halfway point of the race. We got about 2 cars into the pits right about now. Definitely expecting some of these cars got some damage off that race start into turn 1. Did have a I think a few debris flying around the track there. I'm not sure. I think Chuck might have taken some damage as well. So far he's kept that car going, so we'll see what's going to happen. The McLaren of Chuck here trying to keep up with Archer out in front. As we go on board, he is trying to look for a gap to get by right about now. Only in lap 2, so he's going to take his time with this just a bit, just not try to hurry it too much in terms of getting by. But still, second place, not bad position for him to be at this point here. Going to take that off. And let's see how well it's going. He's on the soft tires here and running. Both of them running on the soft tires at the moment. So let's see who's going to have the better advantage in terms of keeping or getting position ahead here. And of course, remember, we're not into lap 3 as yet, so we're about to get into that right about now, which means race control is then going to allow DRS to be online as we get into that lap there right about now. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of an advantage to Chuck Brewers down in second. Might be able to actually put a better attempt at an overtake here. Of course, he does have Jonathan just behind him by about 5 tenths. He's trying to get up a position there as well if he can. So we'll see how well this is going to work out for him. Got looky here in 5th. Trying to have a look what's happening. Almost had some contact there. Someone else had some contact at least. Looks like the Red Bull made a bit of a mistake. Almost had some contact with the Ferrari. The Mercedes gets ahead. That's one up into 5th. The double down to 6th. His teammate West behind him. West is up quite a few positions and is being chased by another Mercedes by Nate Smith. So let's see how well this is going to. We got 2 Red Bulls stuck with 1 Mercedes out in front, 1 behind. Not really a good combination at this point in the session. We'll see how well that's going to work for them in terms of gaining or keeping positions here right about now. But those 2 Red Bulls definitely might be working together on this one. He's going to switch on with Pedevil and Swanee out in front, see what's happening. It's a pretty close gap. I think it's starting to go away from him just a bit there, though, down by at least 2 tenths now. But when we switch on over, and I think he's going to try for it into turn 1, as far as you can see, trying to go side by side with the Mercedes, and he might just be able to get it as he takes it on the inside, gets on the racing line at the exit, and pretty good overtake from him. So now it's a split between them. It's Red Bull Mercedes, and let's see what I'm going to keep that going on through. Out in front, looks like Archer keeping a pretty good, or decent lead against Chuck Brewers there. It's still about, well, it's about 5 tenths, now down just a bit, and still got a bit of a mix going on here with the Mercedes and Red Bull pair. So switching it all around. Looks like Pedal is now up into 5th, Swanee running 6th, Naismith 7th. Well, fighting it with Wester at the moment for that 7th position, as those 2 are still a bit side by side and going on through this. So far, I think quite impressive in terms of these 4 trying to fight off for positions here. And of course, they're fighting for P5 at this point. Out in front though, I think Luke is in front of them in the Ferrari, I believe it is. Is he in a Ferrari? Is that yeah, it is a Ferrari. So he has a bit of a gap to catch up to Jonathan out in front. At least about 4.3 seconds there is what he needs to gain in terms of trying to get into the battle out in front for podium position, and see if he's going to be able to do that. Going to be a bit tough at this point. Only on lap 5, so does have enough time to actually get this done. Got a bit of a switch happening down at the back there with JM Cool and Ice One as well. That's for 13th position. Looks like JM Cool got the position up in the 13th. He might be able to keep it. There's a bit of a gap between them, already splitting by about 2 seconds. It's a 2:10 gap out in front here with Archer and Chuck Brewers at the moment. Want to see who's able to keep their positions here. Looks like Archer gonna start to come under a bit of pressure here right now. Got a McLaren and 2 Ferraris facing after him. Behind that comes 2 Red Bulls and 2 Mercedes as well, who are switching it up for 5th position and is still going at it. We got Pedal running in P5, holding it off pretty well against one there in 6th, at least 5 tenths, who has his teammate about 2 tenths behind of him. Not sure if team orders are at play. We got 2 drivers now with penalties in this, so let's see how the rest of the race goes. Got a yellow flag. I think that's already gone already. Someone might have just gotten off track just a little bit, but I think they're good to go at this point. getting at least quarter way into the race session right now. Looks like West is into the pits, so one of the Red Bulls is now into the pit lane, probably gonna get some damage repaired. I'm not sure what's happening. Let's have a look what's happening with West in the pit lane. Did he get a wing change or just a tire change? I'm not sure. He might have had some damage from fighting off with the two Mercedes and his teammate earlier on. But really can't tell at this point, so let's see what's going to go on with the rest of the session. Out in front though, quite impressive with these two. They're keeping this gap under 5/10 from the start of this race up to this point. So that's the past 6 laps, going into 7 laps pretty soon. Jonathan, of course, trying to keep up as much as he can. Having a bit of a difficult time, I think, though, because his gap is just over 5/10. He's trying to break that down as much as he can here, but I think he's having a bit of trouble with it. He can be seen just in the distance down in the back there. He continues on as Trucker Brewers goes into the pits right about now. Let's see what the switch here is going to be for him. Started on the softs, might be going into a set of mediums here to finish this off. Yep, he is. Getting that one stop over it. So out in front we got Archer still leading. Of course now has 2 Ferrari behind of him because Chuck Brewers has taken a stop. Chuck Brewers is up to 7th now. Fell along the order at the start of this race. I think he started up there in 2nd. Okay, so with the disconnection back on again on lap 9 of 18, halfway point of the race. Looks like Swanee is into the pits. Let's see what's happening out in front. Passes that being switched around quite a bit there. So Luki up into the lead right about now as he's going to continue on with that for the moment at least. Jones there up into 2nd. Chuck Brewers now running in 3rd. Archer running 4th after his pit stop. Let's see what this gap is going to be. To the McLaren out in front. So he's got 2 McLarens here today, with 1 in front and 1 behind. Let's see how well he does handle the situation in terms of trying to get back into the lead at this point here. See what's happening with Jonathan here as he is side by side with one of the McLarens. That is, of course, Trucker Brewers there, now gone behind him in P6. Still trying to get by, looking for a gap here and not finding one as easily as you would expect at this point. 310 gap. Let's see what he can do with that, and if he can possibly keep it going. Of course, does have the DRS advantage as he keeps this going. We got our race leader, Luki, new race leader, is into the pits. Jonesy is now going to take over the lead of the race. Right, doesn't take a bit up. I don't think he did. Got Chuck Brewers up into 2nd. Archer now up into 3rd, trying to get back up into that race lead as much as he can here. Jonathan, of course, chasing after him there. 1.5 seconds is what that gap is, and I think it's going to come down pretty quickly if Jonathan is able to find some pace here on track. to break that gap down. Now we're on lap 10. I'm gonna start the round of laps here pretty soon. It is a sprint race, so it goes by pretty quickly. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid. We got a bit of a gap with the Mercedes there. West in the Red Bull just behind of that though. He's about 5 tenths behind, so he's trying to get up a position if he can. And let's see what his gap is looking like. He has the Mercedes in plain view side in front of him. He's just getting just a bit closer in order to attempt an overtake at this point here. Maybe some late braking or some other strategy will have to come to play for him to actually get this done. Does have that DRS advantage at this point with the gap that he has, so hopefully that is going to help him in terms of closing the gap and possibly getting an overtake done. Down at the back here, we got Pedalier 11, Chartman running in 12, and of course under a bit of pressure there from Super Striker in 13. So let's see how close that gap is, because the Alpine driver definitely trying to get ahead of the house here for P12. They're trying to get into the top 10 as much as they can, maximize points at this point in the session, and he is closing that gap down to about just under 3 tenths, is what he's trying to do here. As he closes the gap just a bit more going into the next lap. Let's see what's going to happen as they continue on through. The Alpine though gaining some pretty good run on Chartman here. I think the gap's down at the back just a bit more further than these drivers might like, but let's see what's going to happen. Out in front, seeming to be Archer there trying to get back into the lead. It's a 210 gap with him and Chuck Brewers. Let's see if anything's going to happen with that as we keep an eye here. Looks like he's about to go for the move. He does get it done. Apparently, he's up into second now. You can switch a bit to that, see what's happening out front. Chuck Brewers has gotten into second. Sorry, got into third. He's trying to get back up into second. I think he's looking for a gap, but just not finding one at this point. Of course, we got Jonesy out in front. He's trying to keep them out of his slipstream at this point. Gets back on the race line just in front of the Alfa Romeo and takes that lead, continues on with it. But I think he's about to lose it here from what we can see happening. So the Alfa Romeo are going to pull it on the outside. Both of them recharging batteries at this point here as the McLaren closes a gap very, very quickly. Tries to take advantage of the situation at this point here. Got I think Jonathan and Chuck Brewers are on the back there doing side-by-side reposition as well, and see who's going to be holding on to P4 at this point. So Archer out in front in the lead now. He's going to hold off on that, probably trying to gain some sort of advantage in terms of making a gap between him and the AlphaTauri here, of course, who is on the medium tires there as well. See what that's going to work out for him. Got Chuck Brewers here. The McLaren was running behind Jonathan at the moment. Has an extremely close gap that I believe he might actually try for an overtake pretty soon. Of course, we're on lap 12 of 18, and so far so good for this race and what we got going on from the start to this point. There's been quite a few battles happening as we got through the session. Let's have a look on board with the McLaren of Chuck Brewers as he goes on the inside into turn 1. Looks like he's going to easily get that done. Doesn't actually make much of a mistake here, but went over the curb just a bit. Had to just be a little bit more careful on the throttle getting back onto it. So lost a bit of pace, lost a bit of ground, lost the position back. Now has to go side by side with the Ferrari and possibly has to hold off back into 5th now. He's using the slipstream advantage as much as he can here going into the next turn. Pulls on the inside. Doesn't have the advantage to actually make the move. He's going to have to just leave it there for now on lap 13. So let's see how much more laps he's going to take to actually attempt another overtake again. Archer back into his lead as he said. He's trying to gain some time here, and he has gained some time. It's about 2 seconds now to Jonesy in the AlphaTauri behind him. Chuck Brewers going to have to try to get around that car as fast as he can to keep up with him out in front. And Jonathan and Chuck Brewers, of course, will try to follow. Luke there in 6th. Want to follow along as well. We got both Mercedes running 7th and 8th, the Red Bulls running 9th and 10th, and there goes a McLaren into the pit wall there. So what happened there with Chuck Brewers? Unfortunate for that incident. So he's now down in 6th. Definitely sure he has some damage to that car there as the Mercedes of Nate Smith flies by and gets up into P5 now. Yep, that entire front wing is now gone. He's going to have to get into the pit lane, get that switch over. That's going to cost him time and position here on track. Time and position which he does not want to lose, but will have to at this point. We're already in lap 14 of 18, unless he wants to try and carry on through the rest of the race without the front wing. And hopefully not lose 1 or 2 more positions here. We'll see what's going to happen, but either way, not looking too good. So Archer leading this race pretty well out in front, 3.8 seconds. Jonathan there in the Ferrari trying to keep up as much as he can, but that gap is going to be a bit difficult to break down at this point here. Chuckle Brewer, they're running in third right now. Lukey there fourth, Naismith all the way up into fifth, so he's gotten out of the train that was going on with the Mercedes and the Red Bull. So Chuckle Brewer between of that, there's one, his Naismith's teammate down is 7, both Red Bulls 8 and 9. That's Western Devil at the moment, so I think they're holding on to that position pretty well. Let's have a look down at the back though, see what's happening with the Red Bulls here. I think someone is posted on track. Jonesy there all the way down to 10th after his pit stop. He was of course leading the race earlier on, lost the lead to Archer and now has to hold on to that position there. I got JM Cool there down to 11, Chartman down to 12, Super Striker down to 13th. It's a bit of a gap between Chartman and Super Striker now, though. It was pretty close off before they took the previous stops, I believe it was. Happened Trust running 14, Super C running 15th, and just a bit further on as we go. See what's happening here. So we got the McLaren into the pits, getting back out right about now. Had to take that pit stop. Didn't really have much of a choice when that done there. On the pedal at the moment here, chasing after his own teammate at this point here. So let's see, can he get an overtake on this one? Going to be a bit difficult. Not sure if Team Martins are going to be to stay where they are, or to see who is the faster Red Bull driver at this point and be allowed through, or will West keep that position going on through the session. But so far so good in this sprint race that we got going on here with Phoenix Racing. Of course, this guys is with Division 1. I don't think we mentioned it before. Really getting into the stream is in a bit of a hurry. Ice 1 out of the session. It might be just a yellow flag situation there. I believe it is, because from where it happened. So that's Ice 1 out. Not sure what's happened to his car. We got both Red Bulls pretty close after each other. It's a 210 gap. Chucker Brewers are pretty close out in front of Jonathan as well. Let's see who's going to switch positions here. And looks like the Red Bulls definitely going for it here. They're definitely racing each other at this point. West has lost that position. He's down to 8. His teammate got ahead of him. I'm quite sure he's going to try to keep that position much as he wants. Super C out in this race as well. Is that another yellow flag? Will we believe? Oh, I think he's just off track on the final turn there down the runoff here in the track. So might not be a safety car or a VSC. I think it's just going to be ended up there as it is. Let's get back out in front though, see what's happening here, because Chuck Brewer's in the McLaren chasing after Jonathan's Ferrari. Gap under a second has a DRS advantage. Doesn't seem to be doing much good at this point, and Jonathan of course not able to gain ground on Archer at the moment. He holds on to that lead pretty well. That's a gap of 4.2 seconds. Even a 3-second penalty at this point will still keep him in the lead. Let's see how the rest of this race is going to go. We're on the penultimate lap here right about now. Lap 17 of 18 as we continue on through this. Archer still continues to lead. Jonathan looking to take second place in this race. Chuckle Brewers looking to take that final podium position. Lukey, of course, too far back to even try to get up into P3. Naismith and Swanee, both Mercedes with penalties at this point in the session. Let's have a look. What are those penalties at this point? It's a 5-second and a 3-second penalty. That's going to coincide with the Red Bull of Pedevil and then the AlphaTauri Jonesy there. Of course, maybe with the with West there in the next Red Bull as well. We'll see how far down it's going to push. And Swanee there, of course, with that 3-second penalty definitely might affect him. His teammate might be able to keep his position because the gap between those two Mercedes is about 6.2 seconds. So with a 5-second penalty, we're not looking at too much happening there. JM Cool does have a little bit of a penalty as well, might be able to keep his position though on track if he continues the way as it is there right now. We're on to the final lap of this race. Has been quite eventful from the start coming up to this point, so we should have one more sprint race I believe coming up. First race I'm actually streaming here with Phoenix Racing Division 1 guys, so yeah, a bit getting used to their sprint race order. Sorry about the start or what happened, missing the one-shot qualifying with that. And we did get the results on the formation lap and get started in the race, so if you did miss that, do check it out when the stream is over as it is there. Yeah, so on the final lap of this sprint race, we should be having a 50% sprint race I think after this one. If I got that right with the order, I'm not even sure if I checked it correctly. I assume we should be doing that just after this, so yeah. The Chuckle Brewers, half a second is what that gap is. Jonathan looks to keep that position. Doesn't look like he's going to shake the Ferrari at this point here. Gaps on the rest of the grid. Not as close as we expect for battles on that final lap, but yeah, the closest we got here as Archer gets across the line. He takes the win here for the Austrian Grand Prix. First sprint race, Jonathan there taking second on the podium. Chuckle Brewers, third driver to be on the podium here. In the McLaren, got Lukey there taking fourth. Naismith it's going to come across the line for P5, and I think he should be able to keep it at this point here. Let's have a look. Does keep it so far. His teammate Swanee gets across with P6. What's going to happen with the order of the penalties now is Jonesy up into 6, Swanee down to 7, West taking 8, James Cole goes into 10. Penalties, of course, and then Pedevil there goes 9th. I'm thinking any other switch happen. Where is Chartman on track as he now gets across? Is he? Yeah, so there we go. So Chartman 11. Chuck Brewers in 12, Super Striker 13, Appentross in 14, Jay there 15, Super C and Ice 1. Unfortunately, we're not able to finish this race session here. So 2 drivers did not get to finish. We got 15 across the line here for the first sprint race. Not too bad of a result. We should have one more look at our result before getting over to the next portion of the session. Jonesy there, driver of the day for that sprint race. Not too bad. He did ride pretty well, even getting up into the lead of the race itself. So yeah, so pretty good so far. Okay, so there is our race results. Preliminary race results so far for the session. Archer takes the race win. And of course, Jonathan there takes second place on the podium. Chucker Brewers there third place on the podium. Luke there in fourth. Naismith in fifth. Jonesy 6th. 27. West in 8th. Devil 9th. TM Cool in 10th. And so on and so forth. So Sharp on 11. Chuck Brewers 12th. Does get the fastest lap though, but still out of the top 10 with the Super Striker 13. Appentross 14. Fox is there 15th. And 2 drivers unfortunately not able to finish the session as it was. Okay, so we're gonna have the guys sort out the lobby for the 50% sprint race here for the Austrian Grand Prix. We'll get straight back to them in just a bit. Of course, once again, I didn't say it before, but welcome to everyone currently joining us here live on the stream for Phoenix Racing League Division 1. If you guys haven't done so already, please make sure you guys leave a like on the video, and please guys make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Got a lot of streams happening during the course of the week. Well, not too many, but we still got quite a few streams. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the commentary. Make sure that you do hit like on the stream. Remember again, do subscribe if you're new here, and we'll give you guys a few minutes and we get started with a race session in just a bit. Okay, so lobby loading up for the next main event here for the sprint race, and yep, was quite an interesting first session. Let's see how well this second one is gonna go. We're gonna get through the grid order in just a bit as the guys get on track. Okay, so on with the formation lap here for the main sprint event. It's going to be a 36 lap race around the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix here with Phoenix Racing League Division 1. Let's get a few things sorted so we can get this race on the way. So, grid order as it is there, we got Alpentrotz starting P1, Super Striker starting second. That is both Alpines going to be starting on the front row. We got Chuck Brewer starting third. Chartman is going to start in fourth. JM Cool in fifth. We got Pedevler in the Red Bull in sixth. His teammate in the next Red Bull West there in seventh. Got Swanee in the Mercedes in eighth. Jones there in the AlphaTauri in ninth. Naismith in the next Mercedes starting 10th. Then we got Lukey there starts 11. Chocolate Brewer starts 12. Jonathan cuts down into 13. Got Archer, our previous sprint race winner here, starting 14th on the grid. Super C starts 15th. Ice One in 16th. J there 17th. And I'm not even how to pronounce that name, but let's go with 97 starting in 18th. That is the grid order as it is there, guys, and gonna wait for them to get it wrong and get their cars sorted back on the grid so we can see what the race start is gonna be like. Two Alpines going into turn one. Let's see if this is gonna be side-by-side action, or are they gonna have some sort of incident getting through that portion of the track. Let's see what's gonna happen. Of course, we got Chuck Brewer, and Chartman just behind him. Then GM Cool coming in a bit of that. Then two Red Bulls just behind of it. It could get a bit dicey into T1. We'll see how well it's gonna go. Our previous sprint race did have some contact with a few cars into turn one that did cause some damage. Caused one of the McLarens to fall way down the order. Then still fight his way back up the grid. So it was a pretty good race. We'll see how well this one's gonna go as we're getting back on the start finish straight right about now to get these cars sorted on through. 97 they're going to be the final car to get sorted on the grid, as we're just going to wait for that to happen so we can get this race going here. Of course, we've put it onto position changes. You guys can have a look at what positions are going to be changed as this race gets started. I'm not going to be able to follow on with everything on track as it is, but you guys can still see what's happening. We'll switch it back a bit in just a bit as we get on with it there. What's happening to my grid order? Alright guys, here we go, waiting for that light, final light. There we go. Which Alpine gets off the line. Looks like Alpentrotz gets off the line pretty well against his teammate. The Super Striker going to follow on through with him. We got the Alfa Romeo, I think of, was that GM Cool trying to get up into second place, which he does. And seems a bit hectic through turn one. We got McLaren off track just a bit there, but gets back on pretty well. The Red Bull come behind two Ferraris as well. So yeah, so far so good. But both Alpines have lost their positions, I believe here. Alpentrotz on to second, Super Striker down to third. GM Cool in the Alfa Romeo gets up all the way into the lead of this race. We do have Chuck Brumas and Chartman in the house fighting it for P4 down at the back here. So let's see how this is going to play out between them. Switches back over here and get on through. So far so good, but not the best of a start there for the Alpine drivers. Down by a position each as they get started with that race. Chartman and Chuck Rivers, though, pretty close gap between these two. Lukey trying to get into the middle of that, but unfortunate gap. Gonna have to just try to ease into that gap just a bit more. Of course, no DRS advantage on the opening stages of this race. We got to get past lap 3 to get that going here, and of course they're gonna have to be within a second of the car in front of them to have the DRS advantage. But so far so good on that race start. The gaps are extremely close throughout the order of the grid right, but now we're not doing too much switching around, just having a look and see what's happening down in the back there. You can see, I think it's yeah, it was Jonesy and Swanee fighting for a position. Looks like Jonesy got ahead of it tonight. Swan is down to 10th. Pretty good overtake from them. And let's see what's going to happen with the rest of the grid getting on through. Out in front, JM Cool leading this race. And I think he's doing a pretty good job of it, trying to get his car over a second with the gap between him and Appentrods there in the Alpine. And that's just happened. So even when we get into lap 3, he's not going to allow the Alpine drivers to get that DRS advantage and possibly get back into the lead here. Super Striker and Appentrods, of course, within a second of each other, they will have that DRS advantage, but his teammate will. At that point, the Chuck Rivers within the DRS range. Chartman as well, and followed through by quite a few more drivers. Let's see what's going on with the Mercedes down at the back here as Nate Smith gets past his teammate. He's up into 10th, and Swanee goes down into 11. Might be having some trouble with the car there, but he's gonna have a difficult time. Archer there, our previous race runner, is up into 14th. Let's see how his race is going here. His teammate leading this race. Will it be another Alfa Romeo winning the sprint race here this evening at Phoenix Racing? Let's see what's going to happen in that case. But so far so good for the team from what they got going on. At least one driver leading the race. And way out in the front, that there, 97 up in 15th position. West all the way down to 16. Not a fantastic start there for him. His teammate, of course, running P6. So not too bad of a position that he's currently in. We're on with the Ferrari of Lukey there and Jonesy, who now gets by, who's still side by side with the Ferrari. Going to try to get by up into P8. Will he be able to get that position down? He's being chased by a Mercedes, or two Mercedes in fact. So he's going to have to be extremely careful with Nate Smith and Swanee behind of him. He tries to push it on the inside around the Ferrari. Can he get it done? And he's going to hold it on for now. But I think the Ferrari has the pace and tries to keep it out in front. Keeps the advantage. He keeps the position. Mercedes, of course, trying to sneak a position through. And this might actually just work for Nate Smith here if he just times it. Oh, we got a bit of a spin along the back there. Was it Nate Smith or was it Swanee? I'm not sure. But whatever, the Mercedes just had a bit of a spin. Looks like it was Nate Smith. I'm not sure if he had any contact with anyone or was it just a spin losing the rear end of the car. It could just be that. We'll probably have a look at that later on. True. We got Appentrods there going side by side with that Alfa Romeo into turn 1, I believe it is there, as he tries to get by side with him. Through to the next turn, and it's looking pretty good in terms of the Alpine trying to get back this position, but his teammate is losing third place right now to Chuck Rivers there, who just got ahead. I think he might be able to hold it off as well. Gonna have a look what's happening behind there. So the McLaren does get up into third place, that is. Trying to get around the next Alpine. Will this actually hold for him as he has it on the inside? He does get by. Alpine not having the best race day here at the Red Bull Ring. So they're down to third and fourth after starting first and second on the grid. Got JM Cool still leading the race. Got Chuck Rivers up into second. And he's going to try to catch JM Cool out in front. It's a 5-10 gap. He might actually be able to pull this off. See what's going to happen. Chartman running P5. He's a 4-10 gap towards the Alpines in front of him. Can he try to get by? He got Pedevil with a Red Bull coming behind of him. A bit of pressure though. It's only a 2-10 gap, so he's going to have to be extremely careful because that Red Bull has a DRS advantage as well from what he has with the Super Striker in front of him. Let's see how well this goes as it's a train of cars getting on through here into the next lap. It's a 36 lap race. We got a ways to go before this race is over. It's going excellent so far in terms of that race start up to this point. Looks like Jonathan and Lukey, they're pretty close off to each other. Well, I think a bit more close to that Red Bull or Pedevil there, who's under a lot of pressure. His teammate down in 14th, not able to provide any support at this point here. Trying to fight for himself to gain position. Nate Smith down to 13th after his spin, so not having the best of races there. out in front. Let's have a look what's happening. It's a switch for the race lead there as JM Cool tries to get it back from Chuck Brewers. He does get it back, but at what cost at this point here? Tires might start to go a bit as he's have to fight quite a lot in terms of trying to keep that lead right now. Arvin Trotz and Super Striker not too far off behind, and they're trying to keep. Oh, and I think we got a bit of an issue. JM Cool off track into the barrels on the side, and that might be a full safety car or a VSC there. It's a full safety car for that. It went straight into the barrels on the side. I don't think he had any contact with anyone. It was just probably losing the rear end and just slid the car all the way through. We got pit stops about to happen here on lap 5 going into lap 6, and this we got overtakes in the pit stops as well. Apparently with the Alpine, not sure if that position will have to be given back. What happened there might be reported, but not. I'm not sure. Either way, let's have a look. And the Alpines have double stacked themselves, and this has provided an advantage to some other drivers here, because that's going to be Super Striker having to lose some time and wait there now as his teammate gets back out on track. Already up in P5, he's losing positions as he gets out in P8 so far, from what we can tell. So first safety car here for this sprint race that we're having with Phoenix Racing League, and it's gone quite well from the point we're up into lap 6. The safety car started up at lap 5, so at least by lap 8 we should be back racing again. So let's see what the order is going to be with the drivers there. So as we have it, we have Chartman is now leading this race in the Haas. Got Pedevil in the Red Bull running in second behind of him. All running behind the safety car here. Of course, Jonesy in the Alpha Tauri in third. Swanee Mercedes fourth. Alcantraz in fifth. West all the way up into 6th right now. I don't think he took a pit stop here. So some of the drivers did not take some pit stops during that safety car, which is what gained them so many positions here. So they're gonna. It's all going to be up to race strategy at this point for them to gain positions like this and keep it going all the way to the end of the race, hoping maybe for another safety car to get a free pit stop when they're actually ready for that. Lukey running 7th, Super Striker in 8th, Chuck Brewers there in 9th, Ice One in 10th, Naismith 11th, Archer, previous race winner, of course, 12th on the grid at the moment. He's trying to fight to stay into the top 10 right now. 97 is 13. Chuckle Brewers is 14, Jay in 15, Super C 16. We've lost 2 drivers so far, and that's Jonathan there and GM Cool. I didn't realize we lost Jonathan from this race. A bit unfortunate for that incident there with them, but yeah, that's 2 drivers out of our 18 that started this race. We're down to 16 drivers to finish off the Austrian Grand Prix. Hopefully we can have all 16 get across that finish line on lap 36, but we'll see how well that's going to go and how it's going to play out with the drivers that is there at the moment. Chartman leads behind the safety car, and we're going to have to wait maybe until the next lap to get this race back on the way again. But so far so good. From what we had in the race session, gaps have been extremely close with the drivers. It's just a train of drivers going on through for the race, and a lot of battles to follow here. We'll try to follow as much as we can, but of course going to get a bit difficult at some point where you can still have a look what happened in the session there. We can only hope that the safety car goes in at the end of this current lap here. We're about to get into sector 3, so we'll have a look at race control is going to allow the race to continue on. At this point, we're going to have to do one more lap under the safety car before we're allowed to get back racing. But it does look like we're going to have to do one more lap because I think we're getting any notification from race control at this point for that safety car going in on this current lap. We're still getting on through. Lap distance here, not too long around the Red Bull, one of the shortest that we have. So yeah, it should be a quick lap with one more lap to go with that safety car. Of course, drivers not going to be happy about this. They like to keep their tires warm, keep the brakes up to temperature, and they're gonna have, that's why they have a lot of weaving going on the track. They're trying to just keep everything to where it has to be for the restart here, because no grip is going to be in a battery start, losing positions off the line, and of course Chartman here is going to lead them back into the race as we get back on that rolling start after the safety car goes in just a bit. It looks like we got 3 drivers in total with penalties. So meanwhile, we're getting through this one more lap under the safety car. We can have a look at what the penalties are. It looks like it's just a 3-second penalty for everyone who has a penalty, and that's Archer, West, and Appentrott. So not too bad with the penalties as it is. Their tires at the moment. Let's have a look at what tires these guys are currently running on at this point in the session. And there we go. So Chartman and Pedal are running on the mediums. And we can see who's on fresher tires and who's not. They're running on 7 laps. They haven't taken a stop. So let's look at our top 4 drivers have not taken a stop under that safety car. Appentrott did. He's up into 5th. I think he's trying to get back out and lead. When the cars in front of him do take their pit stop, it's going to be that Alpine driver that takes back the lead there. He, of course, did start the race out there in P1. His teammate, Super Striker, started in the 2nd. Of course, running on the hards down in P8. They double stacked during the safety car to do the pit stops. So that's why his teammate is all the way down into 8th, 3 positions lower. 2 positions lower than what he should actually be. But yeah, hopefully they can make that up as they get back racing here. So let's see what's going to happen. Let's take tires off. We really don't need that there. I mean, the safety car has already gone out into the distance. We should get this race back on the way and going into the next lap here right about now. Waiting for Chartman to go at it as he gets along the final turn back onto the start finish straight. I think he's already gone for it here. Leading the Red Bull in the dust right now. It's an 8-10 gap to the Red Bull behind. Didn't work out too well for him in terms of trying to keep up with Chartman out in front. Let's see what's happening. Appentrott's there trying to get ahead of Swanee here. It's a 2-10 gap with him and the Mercedes. Let's see how well that gap is going to work out, and he's really trying to get by. Of course, has 2 cars in front of him as the Mercedes trying to get himself ahead of the AlphaTauri, and actually might be able to pull this up, but I think he has to just stick it on the inside. The AlphaTauri goes wide, gives room for the Alpine to go ahead here as well. So that is Appentrott's up into 5th. Jonesy takes P4. Swanee running in 3rd up in front of them. Let's see where the gap is going to be to catch him. Jonesy catching him pretty well and actually trying to get ahead of Jonesy is still, so Appentrott's still trying to fight for a position. I think he's actually gotten it through now. Now going to fight to the Mercedes to try and get another position of the Red Bull of, that's going to be West there, and Jonesy in the AlphaTauri trying to just hold off for P5. Jonesy holds on to it. Let's see for how long. Out in front, Chartman trying to lead, but Pedevoli are keeping the gap as close as he can. It's a 6-10 gap. Swanee behind by 1.5 seconds. He has some time to gain there, but of course he's under severe pressure right now with that Alpine who's chasing after him. Of course, being chased by other cars, but still, it's a trainer cars that are going through the session. As you can see, Archer there gets up into 11 against Ice 1. That's 1 more position up for him as the Mercedes and the Alpine go side by side for this one. And this is, of course, is for P3 getting into a podium position here, and the Alpine actually gets the move done, trying to push as much as he can on this stint here on those hard tires as well, and having that much advantage, so he just has the pace to get it done. I remember this is a bit of a fast-paced track, so he does get that position up into P3. Going to try to hold it off there. Chase after the Red Bull up Pedevoli in front of him to try and get another position if he can. It's a 2.3 second gap. Of course, Swanee trying to come back at him. That Mercedes is not giving up at this point. Jonesy and West behind. Still a pretty close gap with them. Of course, Lucky being just chasing after them as well. So that Ferrari trying to get into the mix. His teammate, of course, out of the session. Got to keep an eye on what's going on down in the further back in the grid here. Have a look at Super Striker, the next Alpine on the list, who started 2nd and not having the best of races here, but he's being chased by a McLaren. That is going to be Chuck Brewers there, trying to keep up with a Ferrari out in front. So let's see how this is actually working for him here. Still trying to keep an eye out in front what's happening with that race lead there, because there's a 3-10 gap between Chartman and Pedevoli there. Chartman is going to have some serious defending to do as Pedevoli looking to get ahead into the race lead. Let's have a look. It might be the mover that we're waiting for to see what happened. There goes the Red Bull on the inside of turn turn 3 of this. I'm not even sure at this point here where they are on track. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the drivers going on through. The map is on the side of the track, guys, so we can't see what's happening with that. I really haven't put it for my purpose there, but let's see what's going to happen. There goes Chartman trying to get the position back. A clean overtake as he gets it back, but they're still side by side trying to fight on through for this. The Red Bull on the inside here, of course, and it will switch it on through as the Haas takes the inside on to the next turn. The Red Bull is currently ahead as they're still going to push on through for this. Almost having some contact there with the rear of the Red Bull and the front of the Haas. And I think they avoided that pretty well. So excellent driving from these two, as quite sure Chartman is not giving up that position. We're going to see an attempt at another overtake, possibly going into turn 1 of lap 12, which might just happen as we get into that lap here right about now. Let's have a look at Chartman on board with the Haas here. He's looking for a move on the inside, not going to be able to get it, trying to keep on the racing line, trying to get a better exit than that Red Bull driver there. And looks like he got a pretty good exit. He's going to keep the slipstream going here. He is going to have that DRS advantage going into this lap here. So let's see if that's going to help as he tries into the heavy braking zone. Doesn't want to risk it, so he doesn't push it on the inside. Just try to keep it on the line going on through. He might have to just time himself for this. Let's have a look from the look of the Red Bull from behind. See what's happening, but so far so good from what we can see. Got West and Jonesy thing switching positions down in the midfield. We got the Red Bull into the barriers on the side. Something happened. He reset it on track. Not sure that was allowed, by the way. Chartman now leads this race. Appentros now up into second. Swanee runs in third. Lukey up into fourth. Bedevil there. Unfortunate issue for him, though, as he's now falling down the order just a bit down to fifth. Chuck Brewer's there in sixth. Going to keep trying to catch up with him as much as he can. Archer here in the Alfa Romeo trying to fight his way through the field. He's behind the Alpino Super Striker trying to get through. And he's probably going to push for an inside move here into that final turn, which keeps the position for now at least. We got Pedeva going into the pits. Definitely has damage on that car from what we can tell happened there. And here we go. We got Ice One, a Super Striker, I think, having a bit of an issue down in the back there, trying to fight for positions. Archer, of course, up into P6 right now. He is working his way through the field. It's a 310 gap to Chuck Rivers in front of him for P5. He might be able to get that position. Jonesy out of the session. It's a DNF for him. Not sure what happened, but seems to be a yellow flag situation. Might have retired in the pits. We can't be entirely sure. We're on lap 13 of 36. And let's see how much longer these guys are going to keep this going. We got 15 drivers remaining in the session right now. It's a pretty close gap with Archer and Chuck Rivers. Side by side they go as the Alfa Romeo takes it around the inside. He gets a position up. A pretty clean overtake from him. Chuck Rivers, though, trying to hold off one of the AlphaTauri. Doesn't know. Well, the only remaining AlphaTauri behind of him there. Ice One. It's a 110 gap. Let's see how that gap is looking there. Appentros out in front trying to keep up with Chartman. That is, of course, for the lead of this race. Chartman doing a pretty good job. Got into the lead pretty well after the Red Bull had a bit of an issue there. So Appentros now, of course, started their P1. He wants back that lead, and he's going to try to get it back. It's a 210 gap. We're going to keep an eye and see when that's going to close. It's closing actually right now. So let's see what's happening as they get through turn one. That Alpine is right on the rear of the Haas here. He is using the slipstream advantage. The Haas, of course, harnessing some energy there at the moment, so it's going to be a bit slower as they get into the next turn. The Alpine, of course, trying to push around the inside, not able to get an overtake done as yet, but has kept the gap under 5/10, which is what's going to help them possibly get a race win here. Let's see how that's going to work for him. But so far so good. We're on lap 14 of 36. We're getting to the halfway point of this race in about 4 laps time. So far so good, I gotta say, for what the drivers have going on track here. Still a 410 gap between these two as they fight out for the race. Ice One 210 gap between him and Chuck Rivers, of course, still trying to get past. I don't think he's going to get that position up as yet, but I'll keep an eye on the gaps as we have it going on through in the midfield. Not too far off of the gaps there, but they're trying to fight for positions out front, though. It's very hard here at the moment, but the Alpine still trying to get past Chartman. Chartman desperately defending here, using everything he has in that Haas to try to keep it in the lead at this point here. Appentros here going to have a go at him into turn 1 of lap 15. Can he get it done? No, he can. That's the hold off in the racing line, and I think he's really trying not to risk it at this point. Both cars harvesting some energy there at the moment. Let's see who is going to be faster down that bit of straight that we have there. The Haas, of course, has lost it right about now. Trying to get back on the inside. Does he get it back? The Alpine pushes around the outside. Doesn't even have to go off track. And they give each other enough room as they get through with this. Appentros gets a penalty, though. That's going to affect his position at the end of this race here. When Chartman knows about that, he is going to be quite excited to hear about it, I believe. Because he knows that's going to be an easy win for him. If he can keep it out in front or just keep it just behind Appentros and keeping this going here. Because it's a bit of a gap. 1.2 seconds. I'll call that a 4 gap right about now with what they got going on. As that gap starts to break down with Lukey there behind of them in the Ferrari trying to keep up. Of course, these two fighting is going to provide some room for him to actually keep up at this point. West there gets a 3-second, but we got quite a lot of penalties starting to accumulate on track here. We'll see how that affects if we raise positions or finishing positions down at the end of the session. Well, yeah, guys, so far so good as we've had this race session going. Appentros up into the lead right now of this race. A pretty good overtake he got done there, but he did get a penalty, which is so going to affect his race position here. Lukey they're chasing after as well. Let's see what's happening down in the midfield with Super Steve here in the Aston Martin. Haven't had a look at him for the race session yet. for the entire session as yet, as he chases after the Mercedes of Nate Smith. Want to see if he's able to catch him and possibly get by here. West down to 13. Jay there running 14th, 97 running 15. Bit of a gap with them, so not be able to get any positions there at the moment. Out in front, they're trying to keep an eye. It's Shartman with a 2/10 gap. Definitely looking to get back into the race lead here. We got to keep an eye and see how this is going to play out with them. Out in front of where we have most of our gaps. It is why we're focusing a bit more out in front as well here. Super Steve really trying to get by here. Not having the best of luck though. He is on the faster tires here, but it is his tires a bit older. And they're starting to go just a bit. We're not sure as yet. But let's see how the rest of the session progresses on. True, it's a 2:10 gap now. He's closing it just a little bit. That's not too much to worry about with the car behind him, since it's a 3.5 second gap, or 3.3 second to what it is there right about now. Let's see, we got Swanee into the pits. Let's have a look what's happening. Archer out into P4. The McLaren chasing after him, closing that gap. And there we go. So it's now a 4:10 gap with Chuck Rivers and Archer. Of course, this is for P4. And they're going to fight, of course, to get onto podium positions here. Lukey there in the Ferrari needs to keep that gap what it is and try to extend it as much as he can here. But the McLaren of Chuck Rivers, he's closing the gap on Archer pretty quickly. Desperately wants an overtake. We got Apentros keeping the lead, and he's kept Chartman out of DR's advantage here on this lap. A bit of a surprise to see what's happened there. Chartman, of course, not going to have that advantage going into the next lap because he's not within a second of Apentros, and it's only by a 10th or 2. He's starting to increase the gap here, so Apentros is desperately fighting right now, as he knows he has to get a 3-second gap to whoever's running behind him in second if he wants to keep a race win here this afternoon or this evening for you guys joining us from. But yeah, not too bad racing for him. Super Striker, his teammate down into 9th, really trying to find his way back up the field, not having the best of luck there. What's happening down in the back of the field where the Red Bulls here. So it looks like Pedro running in 11, West running 12, Jay here running in 13th at the moment. It's a 5.2 second gap towards the car in front, 3.1 to the car behind. Doesn't have too much to worry about right now, but he needs to gain some positions here, wants to get into the top 10 and you know, deal with however much points he can get in this race session towards the Drivers' Championship and towards the Constructors for his team as well. 97 there started, I think, P18 he did. He's running P14 at the moment. You got 3 drivers out of the session. Chuckle Brewers there in 15, not having the best of races here. His teammate though, Chuck Brewers there in the other McLaren running 4/10 behind Archer. Not the easiest of overtakes to get done at this point, but he's going to try for it. Out in front, Apentros doing an excellent job, I gotta say. He has Chartman 1.8 seconds behind. Chartman is losing a grip on this right about now. Needs to push for something more. It's 18 laps done so far. We're at the halfway point of this race. Got another 18 laps or so to finish off the race session. So Chartman is going into the pits. Doesn't want to take much more of this. And Chartman goes on to the soft tires here. Looks like he's going to try to finish the race on that set. He's coming out in P9 here at the moment. Quite a ways down on track here. Apentros, of course, continues out in front. Might have to take another pit stop. We'll have to have a look into that and see what the situation is going to be. That's also what's happening here with Super Striker. As he pushes that Aston Martin, just a bit wide on track, but he gets the work done. He gets the position up into 7, Super C down to 8. I don't think he's gonna like the way that overtake was done though, but it was still an overtake. Might have to be looked at the steward, see if he doesn't like it. We'll see what's going to happen. Either way, Ice 1 in P5. He's trying to get a position up if he can. Apentros in P4, trying to chase after him. Lukey leads the race right about now with Archer running second and looking to get into the lead. What's happening out in front? He might just be able to pull this off, chasing after that Ferrari. And so it's such a close gap as they head into turn 1 here. We're having a look on how this is going to go with them. Archer closing in that gap as much as he can. Looky here trying to keep that position there for the race lead. He might not be able to hold out for much longer here. Let's see how well. Yeah, there we go. So there goes Archer. Gets up into the lead right about now. Puts Lukey down to second. And really not too bad of an overtake for him at this point here. See what's happening further down the grid order as it is. I think this is our closest gap, which we're going to hold off to for the moment here, because Archer leads, Lucky in second, Chuck Brewer's running in third. We got Naismith in the Mercedes in fourth, Appentrot's fifth, Super Striker sixth. Both of these guys started P1, P2. Let's see where they're going to finish on track. Chartman was previously leading as well, now down to 7 after not able to keep up with Appentrot's out in front. He's now ahead of Appentrot's as he has some fresher soft tires on now. And there is Appentrot's. He spun around on track. What happened to the Alpine? He's trying to get back going. Not having the best of luck getting that car going again. Those tires possibly going to be a bit flat spotted. Maybe, I'm not sure. They're just trying to get back going here at the moment. But let's see what's going to happen. Pedevil here chasing after Super C. Important is where the gap is. Out in front, I'm trying to keep an eye on that gap for the race lead as well, because we have Archer and Lucky there with a 6:10 gap. Let's see if I can keep on this a bit closer though. It's about 3:10 between the Red Bull up a double and Super C and Yas Martin in front of him. Let's see what's going to happen. It might be a double overtake as he goes for it against Appentrot's, and he does get that against Appentrot's, but I think Appentrot's does. Did he have damage? See what's happening here on track as Appentrot's is coming back at him right now in the Red Bull. Super C, of course, he's gotten out ahead. Appentrot's running just behind that Red Bull as close as he can here. Swandy into the pits to see what's going to happen with that as we get on through. But you guys, so far, so good in this session. It has been quite an exciting race session here for Phoenix Racing this evening. We're on lap 22 of 36. A race finish coming off so quickly for us here. Got about probably 14.5 laps or so remaining to close off this session. Back onto that right, so we'll see how the rest of the race goes on through. Let's get back out in front though and have a look at the gap between the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo, of course, of Archer. Previous race winner here on the sprint race that we had earlier before this session. So yeah, not too bad for him. And he's out into the lead again. Appentrot's out. Appentrot is out of the session. Not sure what happened. Let's just see if we can see what happened to him. And there he is at the side of the track. There's his car all the way down on the side of the track. So not sure what happened to Appentrot here, unfortunately, but he is out of the session there now. And looks like we have a full safety car for that. This is going to lead to an array of pit stops happening here on this current lap. Everyone's going to go for the soft tires to finish off the race session at this point. Let's see where Archer is on those hards. He's getting into the pit lane right about now. He has a free pit stop here. And everyone behind him, of course, is going to come into the pits here as well as they all start to get in. We can see Lucky in, Chuck Brewers in, Naismith is already in, Chartman come behind, and I'm quite sure he might take another, he is going to take another stop for another set of soft tires. Super Striker there, P6, of course, taking a stop there as well as they all get out here right about now. And we can see fresh soft tires on that Alfa Romeo as they're going to continue on, of course, behind the safety car, of course, until we can get back racing here in a few laps time. I'll be stepping away for just about 30 seconds, guys. Be back in just a second as we're still on the safety car going on through. Grid order change up just a bit as with the pit stop. We'll have a look at that as soon as I get back here. Alright guys, back on again. What did I miss? So safety car is going in right about now. I assume that's what's happening there. We're about to get back racing here. We got 13 drivers left in the session from 18 that started the race. Let's see what's going to happen. Archer leading this race right about now. The safety car goes in. Lukey just behind of him. Chuck Rivers there in third. That's our top three at the moment. Can they keep their positions going into the final stage of this race as the McLaren of Chuck Rivers tries to take it on the inside of turn one already there as Archer going to keep that lead. He looks like he gets the position up. He's up into second and a pretty good overtake. The Ferrari coming back at him there though, not having the best of luck with that. He's going to have to defend crazy to try to keep the position here if he wants it. At the Mercedes of Naismith, of course, P4. He is trying to get into another position if he can. Chartman down with a 6, Super Striker 7. Let's see how the rest of the grid matches out through as he got through with this. But yeah, Lukey there, a pretty close gap with him and Naismith as Naismith gets into third right about now. That Mercedes fought his way through and is going to try to keep that podium position there, of course. Ice One coming behind there, and he, of course, he's going to try to get another position if he can. He's all the way up into P5, having a good race so far, I would say, for him. Chuck Brewers though trying to keep up with Archer out in front, not having the best of luck there. Naismith there, he has a pretty close gap towards the McLaren. Let's see, can he get an overtake done? It's lap 25 of 36, got about 11-12 laps remaining to finish off this session. Not a lot of time. They got to get these overtakes in very quickly before the race comes to a close here. So let's see what they can get done. Archer, of course, fastest lap there in the session so far. We got two drivers out, that's Chartman and Ice One. What happened to the two of them is what we're trying to have a look at here right now. Is it going to be another safety car situation? And they're out on the start finish right there. That's a serious incident between those two. I can't believe we actually missed that. Unfortunate, but it looks like it's going to be another safety car. I'm trying to have a look. Yep, it is another safety car for that incident that just happened between those two there. But yes, severe crash between them. Hopefully everything is good with those two drivers. Might be some reporting happening with the stewards for that incident. I'm quite sure someone might be at fault there with both of them involved in that incident. We're down to 11 drivers remaining on lap 26 of 36. Hopefully it should be our final safety car of the session, and we should be able to finish off the race just after this as let's see if we're going to see any more pit stops. I don't think we're going to see any more pit stops. They might finish off the session on the tires that are on there right now. Ice One lost traction and collected me. Racing incident. Okay, makes sense. So it's just a racing incident. Already getting information from Phoenix Racing what happened there. So it's between Chartman and Ice One driver just lost some traction and collected another. Just a bit of a racing incident, nothing to have reported there. Unfortunate for that, the two of them were having some pretty good race. Ice One was having a pretty good position. Chartman even led the race quite a few laps. He was in a pretty good position to finish off this race, so unfortunate for that happening. But it's been a pretty good race session so far. We got a few pit stops I see happening here in the session at the moment. We'll get back to racing as soon as the safety car goes in about 2 laps time. Has been a dry race session, of course, all the way through. I think that's helped a lot with the racing. I'm not sure if anyone brought the wet setup here to Austria. But, you know, tends to have some rain here from time to time whenever we're racing here. But yeah, it has been quite an exciting session, I gotta say, guys, with the drivers here in Phoenix Racing. Some extremely good driving, pretty close racing, competitive racing, and I think it's quite clean as well. I really haven't seen any dirty racing happening, so I think it's pretty good so far from what I see. Unfortunate West, but yep, as it goes, it goes. Still, you're actually still in the race. I wouldn't count it too bad. You're still in the race, still in the top 10, even though it's P9. But yeah, we'll see what's going to happen as the session comes off to in just a bit. But I think it's been some pretty good racing. I love the streaming races like this. Always a lot of fun, always a lot to follow. It's so much to follow, you can't even follow everything that's happening. That's why, even though I try not to switch it sometimes, we try to I try to at least call out what's happening down at the back of the grid, even if I don't switch it, because a lot of people usually do complain, oh, why are you focusing on it? Just a few drivers in a session. There is a reason for it. It's the way things are usually done. It just provides for a much better stream, rather than just going to where we don't have any gaps at the moment. But we do, I try to switch on through to everyone, to most of the drivers in the session as much as I can, or at least through different sessions that we do try to focus on different drivers to have everyone have some screen time and, you know, just have a look at the racing and the driving. And it's been pretty good for everyone, I gotta say, that's on this grid here, or who has been on the grid, even drivers are out. And of course, quite a few drivers on the grid I've seen you guys race before. A lot of drivers on this grid I haven't seen race before. But yes, it's still some exciting racing. I've enjoyed doing it, and hopefully we can come to an arrangement with Phoenix Racing to continue doing this on a weekly basis from next week. Hopefully the drivers enjoyed it, but we'll have a chat with the guys after this session, and or maybe later on this evening, and hopefully we'll come to an arrangement with that. We'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, we're on lap 28, about to get back racing here as our safety car is going to pull away, start to go into the pits. Everyone going to weave around the pit just to keep on heating the tires, just to keep the brakes up to temperature to get back a good restart here. As we have it, Archer leading this race. Chuck Bruvers second on the grid. Naismith looking to take third place there on a podium position. Luke there in fourth. Of course, we got Archer and Chuck Bruvers with penalties. Let's remember this right now. They do have penalties. This is going to make things interesting as we close off this race. As they get back going here right about now, let's see what's happening between Chuck Bruvers and Archer into turn one. Of course, Naismith trying to keep a close gap. That Mercedes is going to fight his way through as much as he can here. He knows those two probably have penalties. Actually, see if he checked with his MFD. I'm quite sure he knows about it at this point here. Now, of course, most of the drivers are on watching the stream as well, so they're probably having a good look at that. Let's see what's happening to us. You get on through with this. It's a pretty close gap, and most of our drivers getting on through. Closest that we have, I see, with Super Steve and Jay down at the back of the grid. I think that extended just a bit as we spoke about it. Chuck Bruvers, though, trying to go around the outside of Archer here, not getting the best of luck. He's still pushing for that position as they get on through. The Mercedes following him on through. This might be Archer losing 2 positions if those cars are able to get on through here at the moment. From this point of what we're seeing, though, he looks like he's going to be able to keep that position, trying to keep it 6 tenths and above. If he can, it's only a tenth between Chuck Bruvers and Naismith, though, for second place. So let's see how well that battle is going to go on through. And I keep on board with the Mercedes for just a bit here at this quarter, this lap, to see what's happening with these two out in front. And there goes, oh, that is not good for Alfa Romeo there. Their race leader Archer is into the barriers, into the pit lane wall there. He is out of this race. And it's another safety car for that incident, because that's blocking off the racing line itself there on track. We can't continue racing with that in the way. Definitely going to be our final safety car of the session here. I've already lost count of it. Don't even ask how many safety cars. I don't know at this point. But this does happen, guys. But it has been such an exciting race. Unfortunate, I got to say, so unfortunate for Archer. I really thought he was going to have a second win here for another sprint race. But unfortunately, he's out. He's out of this race, and I think that's all on him there for losing the car and putting it into the pit lane there, pit lane walls there. Now we got Chuck Bruvers, who amazingly is up into the lead of this race, and I think he definitely is hoping to take a win. The problem is we got Naismith in the Mercedes behind him. Chuck Bruvers has a penalty. I think it's a 3-second penalty. Maybe it is. It's a 6-second penalty. Unfortunate for that. This is gonna eat him alive at the end of this race. Oh man, that's gonna push him down so many positions. I think the best position he can get, maybe 4th or 5th at the end of this. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, guys, not looking too good so far for the race leader Chuck Bruvers here. We'll bring penalties back online in just a bit. Who has what tires on right now? Looks like Lukey there having very old hard tires on. He's pushing to the end of the race with this. Let's see how much advantage he's going to get. But he's still in a pretty good position here to finish off this race. So let's leave that as it is there. Of course, we got Bedevil there in P4. Not too bad for him. Does have a penalty though. Super Striker in P5. 97 P6. West there P7. Broken front wing and a penalty. J there in 8th. Swan in 9th. And Super C there in 10th. So we basically got our top 10 drivers only remaining in the session here. Gonna wait for this safety car to go in. Probably have about 3 laps of racing or so to finish off this race. We're on lap 31 of 36. It's looking pretty good for the rest of the drivers we have remaining. Chuck Bruvers, of course, he might be able to get across the line for the for P1, but definitely is not keeping it at this point with a 6-second penalty. We'll see how that is going to play on through for the drivers there at the moment. As we're about to get back restarted here, we'll see what's going to happen with Chuck Rivers and Naismith. Naismith, he's going to know about that penalty, I'm quite sure. And knowing about that penalty, he's going to be pushing like crazy to get up into late. I don't think he just wants to take the race win by default here. He wants to just get across the line P1. Luki, of course, going to try to follow him. Bit old on the tires though, so he's going to have to be a bit careful on that. The rest of the drivers behind do have penalties there, except for Jay. So he should be able to gain a few positions or because of drivers with penalties in front of him, and the gas being so close as it is, that's what's going to happen. Back racing again as we get across the line there. We got the Mercedes 4/10 behind, the Ferrari behind by 5/10 there, and we got Super Striker closing in his gap right now with the Red Bull. Can he get an overtake done? Let's keep an eye on them and see what's happening. So far so good for him as he's kept it P5. Unfortunately for his teammate Avantrats, who started down in P1. He's being chased by a Williams there right about now, and almost had some contact with him. He has to be a bit careful with this getting on through, but so far so good as we have it. Chuck Rivers though trying to keep Naismith at bay here and hopefully keep the race finishing position as P1 if he can. It's lap 32 of 36. We're running out of laps here. Naismith, of course, still wants to get that overtake done. He is going to push for it. Let's see what's going to happen out front as we're keeping an eye on the midfield. Oh, we got a Red Bull having an issue there. A major incident on track. That's taking 3 drivers out of the session. Unfortunately, that's 97 Super Striker and Pedevil out of this race. All caused by one incident. Can't believe we actually caught that one happening on stream. That is 3 drivers out. What's happening with the yellow flag situation? Are we having another safety car happen here? It might be another safety car for a lap or so, or maybe it's a VSC. It is another safety car for another lap here. Probably gonna have about 2 laps of racing remaining at the end of this. It's been a stream of safety cars in this race coming to the second portion of it, I gotta say. But yeah, a lot has happened. One bit of mistake just took 3 drivers out of this race. Unfortunate for that incident, but crazy as it is, we got 7 drivers out of 18 that remain, and it's not really bad racing here. It's just incidents do happen because it's been quite an exciting race. I've enjoyed this race from lap 1 coming to this point. I've so enjoyed this race. Hopefully everyone has as well. But yeah, it has been quite an exciting race session. Got Chuck Brewer still leading this race. He's still in it. Wes, I see you're still in it as well. Running in P4 right about now. As you said, anything can happen. He's all the way up into P4. Still with a penalty though. But yeah, let's see how that's going to work out when we get to the final lap there. We're going to bring, on the penultimate lap, I'm going to bring penalties online. So we'll have a look at what's going to happen in the finishing positions. It's going to be a short safety car, guys. It's not going to be too long. They're quickly going to clean up. Everything was off track. I think it's a few bit of debris on the track that's going to be cleared off by the marshals, and we should be able to get back racing by the time we get maybe into lap 35, hopefully. I'm assuming we'll get lap 35 and 36 of racing. We're on the safety car right now. Let's see if it's going to be switching around. Doesn't look like it will. Looks like we have to go one more lap. We're going to have to go lap 34 under the safety car, and lap 35 and 36. That's going to be our final racing laps here for the Austrian Grand Prix for Phoenix Racing Division 1. But damn, has it been a really good race, gotta say. Chuck Brewers still gonna finish this race, get across that line P1 maybe, but not gonna be able to keep it. The order changing up a bit for some reason. I don't know what's happening out in front. I think still get Super C's in the pits. That's what's getting things a bit crazy here, because he's further down at the back anyway. Once again, guys, before we do get back racing again, which we're going to get back into the next lap, for everyone who joined onto the stream, welcome to all of you. Please, guys, make sure you guys do leave a like on the stream. Really appreciate you guys doing that. It does help us a lot. And please make sure you guys are subscribed to us on the channel. We got a lot of different streams happening during the course of the week. Got a few minor projects I'm working on in terms of recording a few short videos to upload for you guys as well. Hopefully you guys enjoy them. We'll be uploading those through the weekend. Hopefully Saturday and Sunday and going on through, and then on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays we have esports stream with commentary on them. Any other day is just gonna be some random videos being uploaded. You guys can have a quick look at those. They're really short videos. I'm not gonna make them too long, but yeah, those are the 4 days that we're doing streams, guys. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. And I think majority of the days is on it's 3 p.m. Eastern time, my time. I think that's like 8 p.m. UK time. But of course on Friday it's gonna be at 2:30 my time. It's half an hour earlier basically. So I think it's like 7:30 in the UK. I'm not really not sure. I'm just working with what I know here. Alright, we're getting back racing here, guys, on lap 34 of 36 for the Austrian Grand Prix. We got Chuck Rivers leading, Naismith in second, Luke here looking to get third place on that podium, or second place on that podium, because of course Chuck Rivers possibly going to lose that position there. West in P4, hoping to keep it or possibly gain up into a podium position. He has a pretty good chance of getting the podium position, maybe. Let's bring penalties up online. Let's have a look at that as we're about to get back to start. Actually, let's have a look at tires for a second. Lukey there, gonna have a bit of a difficult time with this, but let's see how he finishes off this race. Penalties as it is, 6 seconds for Chuck Brewer, 6 seconds for West, 3 for most of the drivers. Super C with 9 seconds. As we get back racing here, it's an 8-10 gap with the Mercedes and the McLaren getting into turn 1. Let's see how well this is going. Swanee here trying to get ahead of the Red Bull. Does he manage to do this? No, he does not. We'll have to keep that gap going as it is there. Gap out in front starting to go away just a bit as the Mercedes of Swanee tries to get around the Red Bull on the outside. Will he be able to make the overtake at this point? Breaking into that turn, not able to outbrake the Red Bull, but no, tries to get a better exit, and he does. He is already up into P4. West is down to 5th right now. He's lost that position under a lot of pressure with that broken front wing that he has. But he's still pushing on through, still pushing as much as he can. Still not going to be a bad finish for him if he finishes there in P5. But let's see how this goes. It's not over as yet. It's still at least a lap and a quarter more, lap and a half more. We have 1.5 lap actually. We have more to go here before we close off this race. We're on the penultimate lap, lap 35 or 36. Had a string of safety cars going through the session. Major incident on that last safety car there. 3 cars taken out at once, and we actually got to call that one on stream. Let's see what's going to happen as Chuck Rivers there tries to defend against Naismith, getting into the final lap here of the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring with Phoenix Racing. So 4/10 is what the gap is. Chuck Rivers looking to hold off that and possibly with some dignity get across the line. P1. He is not going to be able to keep it though. 6-second penalty is going to push him down into P4. Possibly another position down from that, because Swanee only had a 3-second penalty, and it's a switch around here. Naismith takes over the lead. What's happened with Chuck Brewers? I'm not even sure at this point. Oh, he had a bit of a spin there. So he had a spin. I don't think he had any contact, but he had a spin. He's all the way down to P7. Just lost the race lead just like that on the final lap. So much has happened in this race, but that's happening at the final stage, final lap of the race. A bit unfortunate for him. Naismith looking to get across the line. P1 here in the Mercedes and take a win there. His teammate, 3rd place on the podium, is what the finish is going to be. It's going to be a 1-3 finish for Mercedes if they get this done. Luki in the Ferrari there in 2nd. His teammate out of this race, unfortunately. West in P4 back again there, hoping to keep that position. Well, he will keep that position as it is there as they start to get across the line there now. And Naismith takes the win, Lukey in 2nd, Swanee takes 3rd, Fox J there takes 4th, West will have to finish in 5th, Super Steve in 6th, Chuck Brewers unfortunately will have to get across the line, taking 7th place. He is of course with a broken front wing. What a race, guys, what a race. That was quite exciting to watch. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that. Let's have one last look at those preliminary results of this session before we actually close off the stream here. But yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed that. Let's have one look. We should have that coming up here right about now. A great job from the drivers though. Excellent racing. Even though we had just a few drivers finish, I think it was just a lot of excitement going on through the entire session. And there we go. So it's a 1-3 finish from Mercedes. Not something we usually would expect to see here, but pretty good race results there for the team. Naismith takes pole position here at Red Bull Ring. Lukey there takes 2nd place. We got Swanee taking 3rd. And then we got Jay there taking P4. West finishes 5th for Red Bull. Super C in 6th. Chuck Brewer, so final driver to finish in the race, was P7 in the McLaren. Unfortunate incident down close to the end with the final lap on the race there. The rest of our drivers' finishing positions will be shown there as it is. Unfortunately, they did not get to finish the race session as it was there. Bit unfortunate for that. I'll just grab the results there in case the league does need that. Yes, alright, so Once again, thank you guys for everyone who joined us here on the stream live. I really appreciate you guys joining us live and watching the race stream. Make sure you guys leave a like on the stream. Do make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Share the stream link out as much as you can. And I'll see you guys on the next race session that we're going to have here tomorrow. It's going to be Renault Mix Racing. So join us again tomorrow. Same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. UK time. So I'll see you guys then again. Once again, thank you guys for joining. Have a good evening, everyone.